to Binge-worthy. I am Rob Southgate. With me is
Martha Southgate.
And, all right, we're back talking about Season 1 of Wayward Pines.
Yes.
This was a show that was on Fox. And we're only talking Season 1.
It was May, I think, of 2015.
Okay.
That this aired on Fox. May 14th. And let's see how many episodes, but number of episodes 20.
Oh, there's really? I thought it was less than
Oh,
that.
no, that's 2 seasons. Sorry.
That's all of them. Yeah, okay. That makes more sense.
10.
I think it's 10 a season, right?
And, okay, like this first season, what a cast. So, first of all, it's based on the novels Wayward Pines by Blake Crouch.
Yes.
Okay.
And when we were watching it, we looked it up because in that first episode, I was really kind of captivated by it and looked it up, Googled Wayward Pines, and that's where I found that.
Yeah.
And I'm really intrigued to read these novels.
It was
go ahead.
Developed by Chad Hodge. Okay, some of the stars. It's got quite a cast, but some of the stars, Matt Dillon. I am hoping I'm not butchering Carla's name. Carla Gugino.
Yeah, you know what? I always butcher her name.
Could be Gugino, but I think it's Gugino.
I think it is too.
Toby Jones.
Toby Jones,
Yikes.
one of our faves.
Yeah, and Shannon. Oh, I don't know. Shannon Sussman. I don't know if anyone knows who she is. Sorry, Shannon.
Nice. Way to throw her under the bus.
Juliette Lewis, Melissa Leo. Okay.
Yes,
Rob and I loved her on Homicide.
Her. Yes, and
we're gonna have to go back and find Homicide and binge that again, and do that on Binge-worthy.
Yeah, I would love
awesome.
to.
And
I don't know if it's on
her.
Any of the services right now, and that's
it might even be on
rule.
Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah, it might be. It's kind of our rule with this. It has to be something accessible.
We got to find her.
Yeah,
because we loved Melissa Leo in that show.
She was great.
Well, she's good in this one.
Well, I didn't recognize her.
Nurse
you know
Ratched.
who I thought she was? And I'm not going to get her name right, but the woman that I really like that's on American Horror Story. Now that woman is older than Melissa Leo, but I thought it was makeup or something. I was like, I think it's her. And then as they did
on American Horror Story.
You didn't watch her in these seasons. She wasn't in this last season.
Name?
I can't think of her name. Don't worry about it. When we do American Horror Story, which we will do, we'll do a binge-worthy about that. We'll definitely talk about her. It's just I'm drawing a blank, and I don't want to sidetrack us too badly here, like I normally do.
So we got so Juliette Lewis, Melissa Leo, Terrence Howard, Jason Patrick.
Terrence Howard is he was in the first Iron Man movie. He played Rhodey, and then he was replaced. And he's on Empire right now, and he's supposed to be excellent on it. And I want to say he was in Boys in the Hood. He was in one of those. Okay. I think that might be the one he's from.
Hope Davis, who I love.
Oh, Hope Davis is great.
And Jimon Hunsu.
Yes. Awesome.
And that's just some of the actors, but there are some pretty heavy hitters in there.
Well, and one of the things about, like going back to Terrence Howard for a second, when they first show him, what I thought he was going to be and what he ends up being are, and very quickly you learn things about him where you're like, oh, he's not what I thought he was. But as it progresses, there's really interesting developments with these characters that make you flip all over the place about how you actually feel about them.
Well, because you can't tell for the longest time who is good and who's not.
Right.
So, I mean, it's one of those shows that really kind of keeps you.
Yeah. It reminds me of like a Twin Peaks where everything's really odd. What we know about the show now is because we've watched most of 2 seasons. What we know about Wayward Pines, what we know about the story. Number one, we're not going to spoil any of it here. No. But I will say, if you go back to the beginning, when you were first discovering a lot of this stuff, where you end up by the end of season 1, I never would have guessed.
Right.
Never in a million years.
I agree.
And actually, without getting into season 2, but only touching on it, what's going on there, I wouldn't have guessed from what happened in season 1.
Agree. And fun fact.
Oh, Martha's fun facts.
Yeah.
They're back.
M. Night Shyamalan, who you like to call Shyamalama Ding Dong. I knew you were going to say that.
I can't help it.
I was trying to get it out first. But M. Night Shyamalan, he directed the first episode, and I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah, when it came out, it was saying from producer, director,
he's the
M. Night Shyamalan.
Executive producer. He is one of the executive producers.
Right, so they were using him to kind of sell it.
So is the author, Blake Crouch.
Yes, well, you would have figured that, I would have hoped.
Heck, you don't know. What if he had said?
When it's based on somebody's works like that, a lot of times they negotiate to get a producer credit on it. So
right,
you'll see, like when Stephen King, there's a new series coming out of Castle Rock, not Fraggle Rock, Down in Castle Rock. Mm-hmm. I guarantee it's going to say producer Stephen King on that.
Sure.
It's not whether they're alive or not. It's that producer credit gives them, it's a way to
extra
pay
money.
them. Yeah. If the show goes on and continues on, that producer credit guarantees them a certain amount of money. So that's why you see that. This does remind me of an M. Night film because it's twists and turns and unexpected reveals all over the place. But it didn't feel cheap.
No.
And in fact, like if you think about what happens at the wall, I'll say, if you remember exactly what happened the first time, that was so out of nowhere, yet you just got so intrigued by it. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Oh, and then the stuff in the town square. And then what ends up happening with Toby Jones. Toby Jones is great. And he's not in the beginning. Yet you realize a lot of it is about his character, even when he's not there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Matt Dillon's only in the first season.
Yeah, Matt Dillon. Well, Toby Jones is...
No, but I'm saying Matt Dillon,
not
you
in
would
a
think,
lot of episodes.
Watching the first season,
that it's all about his character.
It's going to always be about Matt Dillon, and it is only the first season.
Yes, correct. And it doesn't feel like that it's not because he left the show or, hey, I was signed on for one season. It feels like this is what this story is. Mm-hmm. Now we're on this story, and it ties in these ways. I dig it. I really dig it.
Mm-hmm. Shut your mouth. Can you dig it? I'm doing Shaft.
I know you are. Oh. Just like I'd say Shamalama Ding Dong. I knew you were going to do Shaft.
So, thoughts. What do you think?
You know what? We're not at the part where we're giving whether we binge it or whatever. Are we? Well, we can.
Are you done? I mean, do you have more to say? Here, it's 10 episodes. It's an easy one.
It is an easy one. Do I have more to say? Probably not. And I'll tell you why. How do you talk about it without spoiling things?
I know that's binge-worthy is a little challenging in that.
It is. Don't get to that's why sometimes we have a longer episode, and sometimes they're going to be sometimes short.
We have longer episodes because we talk about
Melissa
everything
Leo.
Else,
yes,
and not about the show. But to me,
this is a really hard one to do that about, though, because the reveals happen so often, so fast, and so much.
Right.
And they're so good that I don't want any type of spoil to happen. Mm-hmm. So, okay, let's go to our criteria. We have first of all, binge worthy or not. What do you say? Just without
I say absolutely binge worthy.
So do I. 100%.
Season 1.
We're
only talking season 1.
But we haven't finished season 2.
Jury is still out on season 2. But if you're going to binge season 1.
Right. Now,
and then
space it out.
Further notice.
Worth the watch or binge the hell out of it. What do you say?
I would say it's pretty easy to binge the heck out of it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it actually is better. This is one where I think it's better to binge it. Watching it week to week, it might get a little frustrating. Plus, you're going to forget. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. But if you binge it, because we watched week to week for part of it.
And that drives us crazy.
And part of it we binged.
Yeah.
And the binge was so satisfying.
Yeah, the binge was far more fun. Something interesting, because there is a big difference, which is why we're only doing season 1 for this part. Chad Hodge stepped down as showrunner.
Oh, really?
And executive producer for the series. He's the one who created it.
And he stepped down.
He stepped down after the first season.
Oh.
Which explains a little bit
There's
about
a total shift.
Why there's such a shift. So watch the first season and just think of it all on its own, and then decide
and
whether
second
or not.
Season, you know what? I think that what's happening is I like the story of what is happening, but there is the reason we're hesitant.
It's such a different
something's
show.
Different,
and now we know why.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense.
I wonder what happened that he would leave from his executive producer part 2.
Maybe they took too long to renew, and maybe he moved on to something else. I mean, who knows? I got another bit that you may not know about this.
I'm dying to know.
Well, there is another tie here that is one of our favorites now, and we did 2 binge-worthies. The only thing we've done 2 binge-worthies about. The Duffer Brothers, who did Stranger Things, worked on Wayward Pines.
Really?
Yes. They were involved in Wayward Pines.
In what way?
I believe they were they directors or were they producers on it? You got to look it up. They were definitely tied to Wayward Pines. And when you know that, because Stranger Things was after Wayward Pines, you start to realize how similar the tonal elements are.
This is interesting.
Oh, you got something?
Really interesting. Fox was considering the second season because of the ratings.
Yeah.
Hodge asserted, this is a quote from Deadline.com, that Wayward Pines was always designed to be just these 10 episodes.
Really? Because I heard that the books continue on and the second season follows the books.
It says, that he allowed for the possibility of another season, but it was truly just supposed to be these 10 episodes.
Really? That is interesting.
He said that in the finale, viewers would see a window to that, but it's also a complete ending as it is. So
which
now
it is.
Watch it knowing
the way
that.
It left, you definitely want it to continue. You're like, but if it had ended there, it would have been satisfying in that, like, wow, I'm left in this great place. Like, this is wild. So that's interesting. Mm-hmm. So that's why he left, for part of the reason.
And a lot of the actors had moved on because it took so long that they had committed to other projects.
Oh.
And so you'll see a couple of them kind of in and out, but not, it's a whole new cast for the second season. So I would say binge season 1 as it was intended and view it as a complete series.
It's a complete story. And then if you want to see what happens, you want to keep
going to see how they did second season. But yeah. So anyway, yes, I would say binge it all at once. Just go for it.
All right.
Binge it at all 10 episodes and just.
And I have our thing about the Duffer Brothers. They were co-executive producers for a few episodes, and they wrote, I think, 3 of the episodes in the first season.
Cool. Okay.
So that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a lot of sense.
It does.
I almost kind of want to think that Stranger Things happens in the same universe as
that would be
Wayward Pines in a weird way.
I don't see how, but
it doesn't. But you know what? I kind of want to think that way.
It just really can't.
Yeah. No.
So,
all right.
There you go.
Binge-worthy, and we both say binge the heck.
Out of season 1. Watch it as a complete
watch it
series, and then see
if you want to go to season
think.
2, separate from it so that you get that experience of season 1. And then if you're like, you know what, I really want to go back and watch it, because I actually would like to go back and finish season 2.
But it is a totally
different story.
Different show.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it. Follow us on social media. Find us on Twitter at SMGBinge. And we put all the social media stuff, our Facebook and everything, in our show notes. That's it for this week. Keep binging.